Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we're the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Ombudsman Boying Romualdez said former House Speaker Martin Romualdez reached out to deny any involvement in the flood control controversy.
The prosecution views the conviction of Alice Go and 7 others a momentous victory.
More skeletal remains have been recovered from Taal Lake amid the search of missing sabongeros.
Philippines Atisa Manalo vies for the 2025 Miss Universe crown today in Thailand, competing against over 100 contestants from around the world.
First in the news, President Bongbong Marcos said all information on flood control projects gathered by the Independent Commission for Infrastructure or ICI and the DPWH will be referred to the Ombudsman for proper investigation. Marcos noted that the reports include allegations against former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Congressman Saldico. He expressed confidence that the Ombudsman will act impartially and that investigation will proceed wherever the evidence leads.
Nais kong ipalaman sa ating mga kababayan na ang ICI at saka ang DPWH ay lahat ng nakuha nila na impormasyon ay ire-refer, ibibigay na sa Ombudsman para imbestigahan ng Ombudsman. Ito ay tungkol sa mga impormasyon ng dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at saka ni Saldico. Pag nakita lahat ng ebidensya, baka mag-file ng kaso ng plunder o anti-graft o indirect bribery.
Now, former Bamban Mayor Alice Go and 7 others have been convicted of qualified human trafficking in connection with the Baofu, Pogo, and scam operations. Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos has the report.
More than a year of congressional hearings on offshore gaming operations and a manhunt that took authorities to Indonesia. Who could forget this face and name? Alice Go, or Go Haping, an entrepreneur who became mayor of Bamban Tarlac in 2022 until her expulsion from government service.
Ako po ay isang Pilipino. At lalo na po hindi ako Spanish. Wala na po talaga malala. Although ayaw ko po talaga ma-mention yung word na wala po ako malala. Pero wala po talaga
No, I'm not asking about...
Your Honor, lumaki po ako sa farm.
Fast forward to November 20 of 2025. The Pasig City Regional Trial Court decided on the qualified human trafficking case filed against Go and 7 others, Rachel Carrion, Jemelyn Cruz, Walter Wong Rong, Wang Wei Li, Wu Li Dong, Lang Shu Pong, and Nong Ding Chang. The verdict: guilty, with a sentence of virtual lifetime term or reclusion perpetua or 20 to 40 years in jail. Each will also have to pay 2 million pesos in fines. When Go and company are done serving their sentence at the Nubalibid prison, they will be deported. According to the Pasig RTC, there was solid evidence that the group had organized and funded Baofu Land Development Incorporated, which owned the compound in Bamban. This Pogo and online scam hub was raided in 2024. And despite Go's repeated denial of being a Baofu shareholder, the court said there's undeniable proof of her connection to the company. Proof such as Alice's car parked in the area where the raid took place, as well as electric bills and ghost villas in the compound. For the prosecution and the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, this is a momentous victory.
Ang kaso is qualified human trafficking, so confidential po lahat ng detalye sa trafficking. Except, alam niyo naman po kung sino ang mga akusado na hinihintay natin ng conviction. So finally, after more than 1 year, napakabilis po ng korte, binigay sa atin yung favorable decision. First time tayong nag-file ng organizing human trafficking under Section 4L of the Anti-Human Trafficking Law. So first time din na nag-convict ang court ng organizing.
It is something symbolic para sa bansa to. What we thought before as parang imposible, ngayon napatunayan natin that sa pagkakaisa ng bawat ahensya, pagtutulungan, and with all the dedication and sincerity, nothing is impossible. Ang masasabi ko lang with this victory, it is not just a victory for the government, but a victory for the victims, for the community, and pati na rin sa ibang bansa.
The Baofu compound, worth an estimated 6 billion pesos, will be ceded to the government. The National Treasury will serve as caretaker, and a technical working committee will later on recommend to President Marcos how the property will be utilized.
Kaya kung naalala niyan si Alice Go, no?
Yeah.
Yung famous lines niya na lumaki lang ako sa farm, tapos tinuruan daw siya ni teacher. Sumikat yung
Rubilin.
Teacher Rubilin, oo. Tapos nag-aalaga daw siya ng mga baboy, di ba? Pero when they ask her, ano yung mga klaseng baboy, I remember sa hearing, nasagot naman niya.
Sagot ba na?
Oo, nasagot niya, in fairness.
But of course, this doesn't stop here. Ano? I mean, of course, si Alice Go, yung kanilang kampo will file a, what you call that?
Of course, their proper motion for
diba?
reconsideration.
Pero of course, yung yun ba yung sinasabing tatay niya, let's not stop from finding this guy, no? Because a lot of people are saying na mas marami tong alam doon sa operation ng mga pogo.
Tsaka we all know naman na hindi pa ito yung, kahit sinabi naman ng PAOK yan na hindi naman sila ang highest. Meron pa dyan. They're just covering up daw for somebody. That we still have to ascertain daw.
So, well, we can also remember that Go was accused of being a Chinese spy. Diba? Kasi yung mga documents that she presented based on the investigation, of course, the court, the prosecution, etc., ay lumalabas na 2002 ba lang siya pumunta dito sa Pilipinas, and she was actually born in China. Tapos yung sa NBI, yung thumbprint nung Go Huaping at saka yung Alice Go, isa lang.
Saka never daw siya nag-aral pero may class picture siya.
Oo.
Sa Grace
Christian Academy.
Yeah, Grace Christian Academy pa ata yan eh. Laking daw siya, home study daw, homeschooled sa farm. Si Teacher Rubilin lang daw. All right. Senators have begun deliberating their proposed 2026 budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. Let's watch this.
The office or the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman is in order. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian will sponsor.
I correct my earlier motion, Mr. President, to interpolate the good gentleman from Tarlac and Pampanga, Senator Dante Marcoleta.
Senator Dante Marcoleta is recognized to interpolate.
Mr. President, allow me to sponsor the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. We respectfully submit for the body's consideration the fiscal year 2026 proposed new appropriations for the Office of the Ombudsman amounting to 6.5 billion pesos. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You go ahead, Senator Marcoleta, you're recognized.
Mr. President, in several decisions of the Supreme Court, the Office of the Ombudsman was admonished for grave abuse of discretion, for acts of bending or twisting the law to expand its powers. I may cite several jurisprudence if I must. Mr. President, if I will be required. And we all know that the present Ombudsman, Mr. President, publicly flouted his predilection to bend the law. Does he believe that these decisions of the Supreme Court are wrong and he is not bound by these decisions?
Mr. President, the new ombudsman intimated to me that his direction is to abide by the Supreme Court decision, and the rule of law is supreme.
And therefore is not correct, and there is no basis for flouting those statements publicly declared that bending the law is all right, provided that he is not breaking the law.
Mr. President, it's a figure of speech, Mr. President.
Mr. President, why figure of speech? The office of the Ombudsman is a high office. We're not supposed to be guided by figures of speech. Our people might be misled into believing that it's all right to bend the law, provided we do not eventually break it. It should be explained succinctly, Mr. Speaker. It should be explained very well that that is not correct. That he was wrong in saying that. He was very wrong in confirming and even affirming that publicly in one of our hearings in the Blue Ribbon Committee. Can we expect that, Mr. President, for the Ombudsman to do?
One minute suspension, Mr. President.
Session suspended.
Okay,
Yun,
that was
so-
the ongoing Senate deliberation on the budget for the Office of the Ombudsman.
And Senator Marcoleta is questioning several actions of the Ombudsman, si Ombudsman Remulla, about the statement made about bending the law. I think this came from a question from si Tulfo, Senator
Yeah.
Tulfo. Pero parang ang interpretation by bending the law means adjusting it little or walking in the gray area, di ba? So, figure of speech daw, sabi ni Senator Gatchalian.
Yeah.
So, ngayon,
But we'll see what's going to happen because it is actually, kumbaga parang sakto lang din yung kanilang budget deliberation because yesterday, Ombudsman Boying Remulla was being interviewed about all the steps, the process that the Ombudsman is going to take in regard nga dito sa flood control projects, anomalous flood control projects. At kaninang umaga din nag-release ng video ang ating Pangulo which was aired here also kanina lamang tungkol dun sa kanyang mga sinasabi about possible cases that will be filed against his cousin himself, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Correct.
Pero sabi nga niya, the information will be turned over to Ombudsman. The information that ICI and DPWH got will be turned over to Ombudsman to see kung ano yung possible cases na pwedeng maisampa kay Martin Romualdez. Pero kung ano yung mga documents sa yon, hindi pa natin alam.
Oo, okay.
Medyo vague kasi yung yung video ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kanina. But yun nga.
Yeah. All right. Well, the session has now resumed from the suspension, so I think we're going to go back to the session right now.
The Supreme Court ruling, as he believes that the rulings are forms part of the law, and the rule of law is supreme, Mr. President. So he abides by those principles, Mr. President, and he will carry that in his tenure as the country's ombudsman, and especially in his quest to hold people to account and to put people in jail, especially those who transgressed our laws, Mr. President. So those are the principles that he abides by, and those are the principles he will carry in his duty as our ombudsman, Mr. President.
Mr. President, abiding by that principle and acting otherwise is different. You say that you abide by the laws strictly, but you say publicly that you can bend the law. How is that? Doesn't the public need to be clarified very clearly on this matter, Mr. President? Our people might be confused by that statement. That's why I am asking whether he can make a clarification or he can make public apology for saying that, Mr. President. And this will be good for the country.
Mr. President, we thank the good gentleman from Tarlac and Pampanga, Senator Marcoleta, for bringing this up. And this is an opportunity for the current ombudsman to clarify his statements. And this is actually the clarification that he is expressing to this august body, that he will abide by the rule of law and he will not bend the law to serve any other purpose, Mr. President, or to serve any other being, Mr. President. So,
Can we,
so, Mr.
Sorry.
President, that's why this is an opportunity, and as he intimated to me, that he will always put the rule of law as supreme, Mr. President.
Mr. President, even for this issue alone, can I respectfully move that maybe we can suspend our rules? I want to hear personally the Ombudsman to say it for himself.
One minute suspension, Mr. President.
Session suspended.
So the suspension, the hearing is suspended again. I think request kasi ni Senator Marcoleta na si Ombudsman Remulla mismo daw ang magsabi na he will abide and follow the law. Parang yan ang gusto niyang marinig directly.
Yeah, well, we all know
Because
they had a heated conversation or argument also before during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee when it was Senator Marcoleta pa yung head ng Blue Ribbon, 'di ba? And they were arguing about kung dapat bang isauli ng mga diskaya yung kanilang mga ninakaw para makonsider sila bilang state witness, no? Because we all know naman yung stand ni Senator Marcoleta doon, sinasabi niya according to the law walang ganun nakalagay. No, but sinasabi ni ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla at that time, he was DOJ at that time,
DOJ pa rin.
Oo, sinasabi niya, wala nga dun sa law, pero pwede, di ba? Parang in good faith, di ba? Para mas makonsider, etc.
Yeah.
So, those are one of the, one of the arguments na nangyari during that Blue Ribbon Committee.
Siyempre, sasabihin ng iba, of course, pahihirapan at patatagalin to ni Senator Marcoleta sa budget because he belongs daw to the opposite side of the political fence. Ganun naman talaga ang kalakaran di ba? Who belongs to the opposite will question stringently.
Sa akin naman, whenever kung anong side ka, dapat naman talaga tinitignan mo na maigi, chine-check mo, scrutinize mo yung budget, diba? To avoid corruption.
Alright, 7 luxury vehicles seized from a Diskaya couple linked to the flood control scandal have been rolled out by the Bureau of Customs for public auction. Here's the report.
7 luxury vehicles owned by spouses Curly and Sara Diskaya were lined up by the Bureau of Customs at the port area in Manila. The units were confirmed to be smuggled and are now being put up for public auction. Included in the seized vehicles are a Toyota Tundra, Toyota Sequoia, 2 Mercedes-Benz G-Class SUVs, a Lincoln Navigator, and a Bentley Bentayga. Present at the auction were Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno, DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon, Finance Secretary Frederick Go, and ICI Chairperson Andres Reyes. Secretary Dizon even checked the Rolls-Royce now famous built-in umbrella.
Yung payong na yun, ewan ko kung yung payong pa lang, ilang milyon na yun. Pera natin yan So may kasamang galit, pero at the same time, may kasama ding tuwa Na finally, mababawi na natin lahat to. Makakakuha na tayo ng hustisya.
Itong gagawin natin ngayong auction, ito ay hindi lamang upang makalikom tayo ng more than 110 million minimum possible proceeds. Mas importante dito sa pera o pondo na maaari natin makuha ay ang simbolismo at ang pagpapahalaga natin na pag ikaw ay gumawa ng mali, ikaw ay mananagot at ang pera ng bansa dapat ay pakinabangan ng ating mga kababayan.
After the first round of bidding, 3 luxury vehicles were sold. The 2 Mercedes-Benz units both went to Simplex Industrial Corporation for 15 million pesos each. Jewelry company Le Central Jewelries won the Lincoln Navigator for 7.1 million pesos. According to Customs, winning bidders may now claim the vehicles. The BOC may also lower the floor price for the 4 failed bid cars, including the Rolls-Royce.
Mas ideal daw kung maibaba na nasa mga 30 million range yung Rolls-Royce. For this auction kasi, we used a 10% depreciation factor but we can now consider perhaps maximizing to 16%.
The second round of bidding for the remaining 4 units, including the rest of the Discaya luxury vehicle fleet, will be held in the next 2 weeks. Authorities insist this is just the first step in holding accountable those who plundered public funds.
So yung mga benta, yung mga car, yung mga average price nila is 8 to 10 million. So medyo mabilis lang kasi luxury car, ganun talaga ang presyo ngayon. Pero yung Bentley, yung Rolls Royce, yung isa yung may payong, yung 45 million. So they're considering lowering the price daw by another 10% or less, around about 4 million because sino ba bibili ng kotse na 45 million?
But yung iba kasi they bought because yung iba collectors. For the collectors sila. And then yung isa naman, I think nagpa-interview siya, sabi niya because of the historical value.
I mean collector, pero
historical on the dark
these
side.
aren't collector pieces because they are high-end cars, but they're not collector pieces. Collector pieces yung mga old ones. I think people will buy this more on because of the value of the story. Di ba ang ganda ng sagot kanina. Dahil sa kwento, di ba sabi niya, ba't ka bumili ng Navigator? Kasi Lincoln yun eh.
May bad juju yan.
No, hindi naman. Sabi niya...
Pero hindi, this is the least that we could do doon sa mga ninakaw ng mga Discaya, allegedly. Hindi, kasi ito yung sa mga sinasabi nga nilang mga sasakyan na nakuha, na parang smuggled, walang proper papers.
Well, at this point, allegedly
diba?
pa naman tayo.
Well, sinasabi nga namin, kasi itong mga sasakyan na to ay are meant, diba, yung pera na to are meant for education, flood control projects, and healthcare.
All right, well, let's go back to the budget deliberation for the Office of the Ombudsman at the Senate.
Budget plenary deliberations, with all due respect to Senator Marcoleta. So I apologize that it may not be possible also this morning, Mr. President.
So therefore, we are not entertaining the motion.
We are not entertaining the motion, Mr. President, but the chairman remains fully capable of addressing the important issue raised by the good gentleman.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Muli nagpapasalamat po kami kay Senator Marcoleta at tinanong niya po yung itong issue. Nagbibigay po ito ng oportunidad para sa ating bagong ombudsman klaruhin yung kanyang mga nasabi. At wala hong intention to bend the law. No? That's very clear. In fact, ang prinsipyo po ng ating bagong ombudsman is to follow the law and uphold the law. Dahil naniniwala siya na ang rule of law is supreme, Mr. President. So, para lang klaro, no? Na itong nasabi niya ay isang figure of speech, pero wala hong intensyon na baliin po ang batas. Dahil ang kanyang intensyon ay ipatupad ng batas ng may integridad at may katarungan, Mr. President.
Mr. President, kaya ko lang naman po ipinipilit ang bagay na ito sapagkat I think even the Ombudsman as a lawyer himself believes in the court doctrine of our legal system, dura lex sed lex. Yung sinasabi nating bending the law will be inconsistent totally with this core legal system. Hindi mo po pwedeng kahit na konti. Tatanong ko nga sana to what extent can you bend the law that can still be acceptable? Hindi po pwede yun. Dura lex sed lex.
At ako rin po, sumasang-ayon po kay Senator Marcoleta, the good gentleman from Tarlac, Pampanga, na ang batas po ay dapat ho natin ipatupad. At wala ho yan tinitignan. Kaya ho naka-blindfold po si Lady Justice dahil wala ho tinitignan. At yan rin po ang assurance ho ng ating bagong ombudsman dito po sa bulwagang ito at sa lahat po sa sambayang Pilipino na nanonood ho sa atin na ipapatupad niya ho ang batas na may integridad po.
Kasi po, Mr. President, nakakabagabag talaga. Sana po figure of speech lang. Pero nagkaroon po kasi ng pagkakataon na hindi figure of speech yun eh. Dahil doon sa isang pagdinig sa Blue Ribbon Committee, nakita naman po nating lahat. when a particular witness applied for witness protection program, and the law is clear, the provisions of law on the requirements on how to apply for a witness under the witness protection program. Nandun po lahat yun eh. The enumerations, the requirements are exclusive. Pero sinabi po ng ating ombudsman, then the Secretary of Justice, pinipilit po merong restitution. I advise him that he cannot do that because restitution does not appear in the law. But Mr. President, he insisted. So doon po nagkakaroon ng problema. While publicly, he declares that he upholds the law to the fullest. Pero in reality, it is not being done. How can you put a requirement which is not in the law? And he said that was his opinion. His opinion will not even matter, Mr. President. Does that opinion will even prevail over the strict provision of law? Yun po yung aking ikinatatakot, ikinababahala, na nami-mislead po yung ating mga mamamayan eh. Pati ang ating processes po ay nalalagay sa alanganin. That's why this is very important. Na kailangan po masettle natin ang issue ito. We cannot bend the law. Kasi po, kapag pinanatili natin yun, it is as if the ombudsman has the power to refine the law or even revolutionize the law. No one can do that, Mr. President. Kasi po, tingnan na, ito pa po yung nakakabagabag. Still falls on this very subject, Mr. President. Kamakailan lamang po ang ating current ombudsman ay nag-announce na sa mga darating na araw, meron pong may issuean na warrants of arrest. Na mga iba po ay kasama pa natin sa kapulungan ito, Mr. President. Mr. President, may I ask whether the Office of the Ombudsman has the power to issue warrants of arrest?
First, ang kinainit na ulo ni Senator Marcoleta yung restitution issue. Sinasabi kasi ni Senator Marcoleta, right, after the determination of the court, tsaka yung restitution papasok for yung witness protection program or those who want to undergo sa program. Ang sinasabi ni, at that time, Secretary Remulla and also other legal luminaries, there is a provision also that says na bago ka mapasok sa isang programa, kailangan magkasundo kayo with a memorandum with the DOJ as required by the DOJ. So kung hindi nga nakasulat specifically but the DOJ says, bago ka pumasok sa amin, isoli mo muna yung nanakaw mo, pwede daw yun. So kanya-kanyang interpretation.
Pero yung sinasabi nga ni Senator Marcoleta, dura lex sed lex, diba? The law may be harsh, but it is the law. But we will see what's going to happen in the budget deliberation on proposed budget for the Office of the Ombudsman. But speaking of the Ombudsman, Ombudsman Boying Remulla revealed that former House Speaker Martin Romualdez called him to deny his involvement in the flood control controversy. Here is the report.
At a public forum, Ombudsman Boying Remulla revealed that former House Speaker Martin Romualdez once called him after he was linked to the flood control scandal. According to Remulla, Romualdez denied all allegations against him. The two are fraternity brothers, and Remulla described their relationship as close.
I answered his call once because we respect each other. Well, he was trying to explain his side that he had no hand in many things. But that's all I can remember.
Anong sagot?
Wala, just, diba? We just followed the evidence.
Remulla added that after that call, he never spoke with Romualdez again, saying he wanted to focus on the case. It was security consultant Orly Guteza linked to Congressman Zaldico, who earlier claimed he delivered suitcases of cash from alleged flood control kickbacks to the home of Romualdez. Ko himself confirmed the claim in a video statement. For now, the Ombudsman's investigation into Romualdez is ongoing. When asked when charges could possibly be filed, Remualdez said,
"It will be filed within the year. I mean, not this year, but at least in the next 6 months or 9 months.
Oh, yes, yes.
You think so?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll hold you to that.
Yes, ma'am. I do not want to file a lousy case. I will never file a lousy case. I'm not that kind of person. I want things to be done properly. I want it to be documented. I want it to be solid.
Remulla also earlier said the Ombudsman will investigate the other names mentioned by Ko in the video, including President Bongbong Marcos.
The evidence will take you where it will take you. But the investigation will always lead to somewhere that, to some people who will be culpable. And we don't know where it will lead us right now. The revelations are fresh, and we're checking on everything.
Kahit sino pa po ito.
Wala naman tayo magagawa kasi nandiyan na yan eh. Hindi ko naman kinuha yung opisina to para magtakip para kahit kanino. I didn't get this office for that.
Just this Tuesday, the first case related to the flood control scam was filed against Ko and officials of DPWH Mimaropa and SunWest.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. The DPWH and ICI recommended graft, plunder, and direct bribery complaints to the Ombudsman against former Congressman Zaldico and former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Boxes of documents were submitted, including information tied to nearly 100 billion pesos worth of contracts linked to coal. The referral also cites earlier claims that bags of cash from project kickbacks were delivered to Romualdez's home, allegations Ko later affirmed in a video statement. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon and ICI Commissioner Rogelio Singson stressed that public officials must be held accountable, saying the referral lays out factual links between the contracts and the officials involved.
The Makabayan Bloc is questioning why President Bongbong Marcos has not yet been included in the investigation into the alleged irregularities in flood control projects. The group stressed that it is premature to dismiss or absolve the president, emphasizing that former Congressman Zaldico's allegations are serious and warrant thorough examination. ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino noted that the recent dismissal of Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin and the resignation of DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman suggests that Ko and former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo's statements may have merit.
Premature na absuelto na ang Pangulo. Parang gano'n na ang nangyayari. No, na hindi, ginamit lang ang pangalan niya. So, imbestigahan ito. Seryoso to, imbestigahan. Let us hear the sworn testimony of Yusek Bernardo and for that matter, Zaldico. Tama naman yung sinasabi, di ba? Hindi mga sinumpaang salaysay.
Joining us now is ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino. Good morning. Kong, thanks for joining us again.
Good morning. Good morning to you and to the viewers.
Yeah, seems like you're in transit, Kong, but thank you for joining us. So, why do you think premature pa po itong kumbaga naging statement ni Senator Lacson tungkol dun sa involvement ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa budget scam na to?
Well, it's definitely premature. It seems to be an attempt to precondition the public on how to interpret the testimony that Yusek Bernardo may actually give. No, let me note, Senator Lacson himself is still, you can call it gatekeeping this latest testimony of Yusek Bernardo. He shared it initially during his interpellation in the Senate. And he has been giving interviews about what Yusek Bernardo allegedly said. which is very important information pointing to the president himself, among others. But we have actually not directly heard Yusek Bernardo himself say these things. And no one, for example, no one in the Blue Ribbon Committee or anyone else has been able to question him further about it. So this to me is highly irregular, that a witness with such explosive testimony pointing directly to the president. According to him, he took care of insertions, like he says 51 billion worth out of the 100 billion mentioned by Zaldico. 51 billion he directly, personally took care of. And according to what Senator Lacson said, Yusek Bernardo says he did it because on the understanding that it was the order, on orders of the president. So this is such important testimony, but we're being given conclusions, for example, by Senator Lacson, that the president is not involved. Parang naabsuelto na. The president has been cleared. And then Malacanang itself is not forthright with being forthright and transparent with the dismissal of Executive Secretary Bersamin and Secretary Pangandaman of the DBM. I'm particularly outraged by the spokesperson's answer yesterday that when being pressed about resignations, sagot let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Oo.
Hindi
Kumbaga
ko
parang
pwede
for
yun,
us,
diba?
for us people, resignation is not tantamount to accountability. And it shouldn't stop there.
Exactly, and that's why now I'm using the term cover up. Parang the president was talking about investigation, pursuing where the evidence may lead, but now that it's pointing to him, then all of a sudden it's let's just leave it at that. Don't ask any more questions.
We cannot be selective on being on transparency.
But how critical, Kong, is talking to yung, si Trigrim Olivar and si Bersamin, no? Asek, I think Asek or Yusek Bersamin, supposedly kasi sinasabi ni Senator Lacson na they were misrepresenting the president, they were name-dropping the president, but nobody really has asked them directly whether they were misrepresenting or they actually took orders.
Well, exactly. That's the point. No one has asked Yusek Bernardo directly, for that matter. No one has asked Executive Secretary Bersamin because both Zaldico and, specifically Yusek Bernardo mentioned several times the name of Executive Secretary Bersamin. The first time he appeared in the Senate, then the second time, he kept mentioning Executive Secretary Bersamin.
Yes.
So, at this point, the logical thing now is if Bernardo says Bersamin told him that or made him understand that these were upon orders of the president, then the logical next step would be, let's ask Bersamin himself. Let's ask Pangandaman herself. Let's ask Olayvar. Let's ask the younger Bersamin. And yet, the bodies that are that are tasked with investigating seem to be dragging their feet or are not willing to do so at this point.
Okay, so let's go to the budget process. Perhaps you could shed light on that because you're in the Congress. Zaldico claims that yung ating Pangulo daw nagpa-insert through him sa bicameral ng 100 billion insertions. A lot of people are saying na why would he insert it sa BICAM where he can actually do it via National Expenditure Program? So your thoughts on that po?
Well, first of all, the important thing with the statements of Zaldico and Bernardo is
I'm sorry, Congressman, nawawala po kayo?
That this is
okay. Let's fix the signal po first. Kong, no, nawawala
been
po kayo. We can't understand you. We'll try to get back to Congressman at the moment because we would like to know, of course, he's in the Congress, he would know the process of budget, diba? So can we try that again, Kong? Wala pa. Okay. So yun nga, no, because a lot of people are saying, or yung ibang mga may alam din sa budget, that's why sabi nila, dapat malaman natin yung talagang pinaka-proseso. Dahil yung sinasabi nung iba, bakit kailangan pa mag-insert ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos through BICAM when in fact he can do it daw via NEP?
Pero yung coverage
Pero
sa
may
protesta,
sinasabi sila about leadership fund kasi.
May sinasabi si Malutikia, di ba? Si Madam Malutikia, nung ano nyo, is that para kasi through NEP, nakikita na nanggagaling sa kanya.
Yung leadership fund kasi yun.
So pwede naman, kaya niya gusto i-insert sa BICAM, it's because mukhang hindi nanggagaling sa kanya, nanggagaling sa, sa Congress.
Okay, let's try that again. Kong, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Ayan po. Sige po.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, so the simple answer there is bakit kung meron ng NEP, may insertions na doon ng Pangulo, if he wanted, bakit meron pa sa BICAM? The simple answer to me is because you can add more. No, so that's one basic the budget process enables more insertions of projects than are present or possible in the NEP. No, because precisely what Congress does is to take out or reduce the budgets of other agencies in order to accommodate all of the new insertions. No. So my simple explanation there is why did the President ask for insertions? These are additional insertions.
So it's possible.
Kung may nababanggit niyan, I mean...
So they want more. So there.
So impossible. Kumbaga possible yung ganung scenario.
Pero gusto ko tanungin kay Kong kasi may nababanggit ngayon na medyo bago sa ibang tao, yung word leadership fund, Kong. Ano ba itong leadership fund na lumalabas ngayon?
Well, leadership fund, matagal na yan, no? Hindi yan bago. Is there's those in leadership positions in the House and Senate, no? Senate President mainly and Speaker of the House, plus the Deputy Speaker. These comprise the leadership. So they get more. They are entitled to more insertions on top of the regular allocations of ordinary members of Congress or the Senate. So yun ang ibig sabihin ng so-called leadership fund.
Okay.
No? If I may, yung meron kasing argument na used primarily by Senator Lacson to exonerate or to exonerate the president. Sabi niya, paano sa kanya yung insertion? Siya naman, nag-veto siya. Vinito niya. Yung meron daw 3 items na vinito doon sa listahan na binigay ni Zaldico. So, imposible na siya nag-insert. Bakit vinito niya? Let me just point out that the list provided by Zaldico and confirmed by everyone to be actual insertions consists of 643 items. No? So kung may vinito man ng Pangulo na 3 ay napakaliit na bahagi lang yon ng kabuoang insertion. So that's no argument at all. Hindi valid na argument yon para sabihin na hindi insertion yan ng Pangulo.
Having said that, Kong, do you think this is a case of, based on the evidence available right now, the one that we are talking right now, can you say that this is a matter of incompetency on the side of the President or talagang may kinalaman siya dito?
Well, dalawa lang yan eh. Either ang gusto nila palabasin ay ngayon, walang alam ang presidente, ginamit lang ang pangalan niya. That's the narrative mainly pushed by Senator Lacson. So ang gusto sabihin, wala, nalusutan. So in other words, parang, incompetent
clearly, he's not on top
Pangulo.
of his admin if that's the case.
Yeah, hindi. And the other one is talagang totoo yung sinasabi na direktang inutos at direktang nakinabang ang Pangulo. No? So, of course, mas mabigat yung pangalawang yan kung direkta talaga. So, those are the only two choices left, apparently, for the defenders of the president. And I think they're choosing the
Lesser
first one.
evil.
Buti nang incompetent kesa direktang corrupt. Parang ganon. Pero, either way, ay napakalaki ng I mean, kahit pa lang yung sabihin natin, if we believe the narrative now that the executive secretary of the president and the DPM secretary conspired to plunder the budget and the president had no knowledge whatsoever of this.
Nakakatakot din yan.
Nakakatakot. At malaki rin ang pananagutan ng presidente.
Right.
Pero hindi siya lusot. No? Pero nga, ang sinasabi natin, premature pa na sabihin na ganun na nga. Kasi may mga next steps na dapat gawin na hindi pa ginagawa.
You're right. Okay, Kong, last question na po on our part, kasi what do you make out of the recent video statement of President Bongbong Marcos? Earlier lang yata yun na-release regarding saying na, actually this is the first time saying na yung mga ebidensya daw na makukuha ng ICI will be passed to Ombudsman against his cousin, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. And what do you think also doon sa sinasabi niya lagi na titignan natin if there's evidence at saka magpa-file ng cases when in fact, according po kay Congressman Tiangco, nag-usap sila noong November 2024 and he knows about this already, about the nangyayari sa budget, 'di ba? At even sinabi pa nga daw niya kay House Speaker noon, bakit niyo ako kinukuhanan ng pera? Pero nalaman na lang natin ito when during SONA, July. So, ang laki din ng time gap na yun.
Opo. Well, yeah. I mean, malinaw na even back then something was going on because in December, if I'm not mistaken, Zaldico was fired as Committee on Appropriations Chair. So, obvious na may something na nangyayari sa budget. But as to the latest video statement of the President, nagbago siya ng todo ngayon. Just a week ago, tinanong siya kung makakasuhan ba ang pinsan niya, Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ang sagot pa niya yun, parang walang ebidensya, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Ngayon, he has changed his tune and now is mentioning the possibility of filing cases including plunder against the Speaker. Well, ako what made him change his tune? Yan ang tanong, no? I think ako ang explanation ko diyan, ngayong nasusukol na siya, umabot na sa to himself yung mga allegations, umabot na sa kanya. Ngayon mukhang handa na siyang isalang ang pinsan niya. So better the cousin rather than him it seems. Parang ganon, no?
All right. Well, thank you for that insightful interview and your time. ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino. Hope to have you back.
And just to be clear, hindi po kayo nagdadrive, ha?
Hindi po.
Okay. Para context natin sa mga audience
Kita-kita naman sa
alam mo naman. We have to clear that out. Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Kong.
Thank you po.
All right, Presidential son Sandro Marcos and 38 lawmakers from the Northern Luzon Alliance have signed a manifesto expressing full support for House Speaker Bonji D. The group praised D's steady and impartial leadership and urged colleagues to rise above political noise. Deputy Speaker Ronaldo Puno also denied talk he would replace D, saying he continues to support the Speaker. The alliance likewise issued a separate statement backing President Marcos and his anti-corruption and governance agenda.
Over 50 more skeletal remains have been recovered from Taal Lake amid the search of missing sabongeros. Mobile Journal Ray Vicente has the report.
The Department of Justice revealed that 57 more skeletal remains were recovered in Taal Lake this month.
On November 6, we report that
25 pieces of alleged human skeletal remains were collected and were discovered and collected. On November 17, 6 pieces were then collected, and November 18, 26 for a total of 57 bones in the past weeks.
During the press conference on Thursday, November 20, DOJ spokesperson Attorney Paula Martinez said that the authorities resumed its search operations of missing sabongeros. Search teams then conducted a 3 separate days of operation this November after it was halted last month.
The CIDG Regional Field Unit of Region 4A conducted separate investigations in Taal Lake. This is following the resumption of the investigation and diving operations, which were, if you recall, were suspended previously because of the typhoon and because of volcanic the conditions of the Taal volcano in the area.
However, bones were not the only recovered ones. The collected bones on November 17 included items such as black pants with black belt, white underwear, and a piece of cut wheat floor cloth. Authorities started the search on July 10 this year, where several sacks and skeletal fragments were also found in Taal Lake. Kapatid Ray Vicente, we are One News.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. The Copenhagen Institute for Future Studies has released its 2025 COPD Index, showing global progress in disease management, while highlighting areas that still require urgent action. Jovi Francisco has the report.
On World COPD Day, the Copenhagen Institute for Future Studies, through its Respiratory Health Initiative, released the 2025 Chronic Obstructive Pulmonary Disease Index. Data that show how the world is tackling the disease. Compared to the 2024 index, the new findings confirm stability in COPD care in many territories, but also highlights the fact that a lot more action needs to be done.
Let us make a shared commitment to turn words into action and awareness into oxygen for Malaysia, for Asia, and for the world.
Last week in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Jose Luis Castro, the World Health Organization's special envoy for chronic respiratory diseases, told journalists that COPD remains one of the most underestimated global health threats. COPD kills over 3 million people each year and affects almost 400 million.
You can talk about deaths, you can talk about numbers, but it's also costing the economy, the global economy. It's a huge drain. So when you talk about the economic picture of COPD, $2 trillion USD is the cost of NCDs to the global economy, 2 trillion. And it's estimated that COPD accounts for nearly 150 billion of that. So it's a huge drain.
COPD is a lung disease that causes restricted airflow and breathing problems. Though manageable, COPD is incurable, hence the need for early detection. It affects lung function progressively in an irreversible manner, causing symptoms such as chronic cough, phlegm, difficulty in breathing, wheezing, and tiredness. Experts say COPD often receives clinical attention only when it becomes life-threatening in patients, especially those with multiple non-communicable diseases. COPD is a concern in Southeast Asia, where smoking is rampant and air pollution is among the world's worst. In the Philippines, it remains among the top 10 leading causes of death among Filipinos, with majority of cases due to smoking. Misdiagnosis also often happen in the Philippines because there is a lack of awareness about COPD. Neighboring countries can learn a lot from Malaysia and how it is working to improve COPD care. From aggressive info campaigns, reforms in health insurance coverage, and even state-of-the-art testing that includes artificial intelligence, like what was offered in this lung event organized just outside Kuala Lumpur.
Moving forward, actually, Malaysia is committed to continue to strengthen this Lung Health Initiative. Of course, we want to improve the equitable access to care, especially the low-income population. So that's our main focus. Advancing global collaborative research, working together with WHO, and we also champion the ASEAN.
Proving that a shift towards proactive strategies is essential in dealing with COPD. Reporting from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Joby Francisco, we are One News.
The inaugural of FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup 2025 kicks off today at the PhilSports Arena in Pasig City. Mobile journalist Denise Valdez Sancho has the report.
It's a triple-header Thursday in the 2025 Premier Volleyball League Reinforced Conference at the Mall of Asia Arena. Capital One Solar Spikers overcame a slow start to secure a win against the Galleries Tower High-Risers in 4 sets, 12-25, 29-27, 25-19, 25-18.
We knew that they're going to be super hard, yeah? Since the guy has nothing to lose, and also we have to show up. Because our last 2 matches is a little bit under the level that we intend to play.
Nika Yandok led the team with 19 excellent sets, a point and an attack apiece, alongside 6 excellent digs. The Farm Fresh Foxies sealed the top spot after making a quick work out of Cherry Tigo, 25-17, 25-23, 29-27. Alohi Robbins Hardy accumulated an explosive 24 excellent sets, 7 points, 5 attacks, a block, an ace, and 3 excellent digs. Reigning All-Filipino Conference champs Petrogas defeated the higher-ranked PLDT to claim a 4-setter victory, 25-21, 27-25, 23-25, 25-21. Mang Pineda tallied 23 excellent digs alongside 10 excellent receptions to lead the team. Ranked at 5th, Petrogas will be facing rival Creamline, currently at the 4th spot.
We're actually playing our best volleyball now. So that was a good warm-up, I guess, for the next round. So,
meanwhile, the inaugural FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup 2025 will kick off today at the PhilSports Arena in Pasig City. World number 6 Argentina and 31st ranked Morocco will battle it out at 6 p.m., followed by the opening ceremony at 8 p.m. Host Philippines at the 63rd spot will then face number 14 Poland at 8:30 p.m. This Spikers turf makes history as it takes on its biggest stage today at the iconic Araneta Coliseum for its triple-header semis matches. The Savoj Aesthetic Spin Doctors and UST Gameville Golden Spikers meet again at 1 p.m., followed by the match of the 2 international teams Kinda University and Pro Volley Academy at 3 p.m. The Signal Super Spikers and Crisscross King Crunchers will cap off the day at 5 p.m. Kapatid Denise Valdez Sancho, we are One News.
Now, the Philippines' Atisa Manalo is now competing on the Miss Universe stage. Manalo wowed the audience in her white swimsuit during the top 30 runway. She then entered the top 12. Our bet will compete in the evening gown segment and in the question and answer portion if she makes to the next cut. Manalo aims to take home the country's 5th Miss Universe crown in Thailand, where Catriona Gray won the 4th crown in 2018. I think katatapos lang niya rumampa nung kanyang evening gown.
Very good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Buras Belly, for the food. Happy weekend, everyone. Take the time to celebrate the small wins. Those tiny victories have paved the way for the big ones. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow or on Monday. I'm Angelo Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III, kapatid. We are One News.
All sides, all the time. Gusto ko pa mag-work eh.